Ladies and gentlemen, welcome you all back to Dragon Age Origins. I just wanted to inform you that I did install just a couple mods for this. Just ones, a couple of them by suggestion. Actually, there was one by suggestion I tried to install called Improved Atmosphere mod. For some reason, it just wouldn't work. Every time I downloaded the RAR file, or the archive, or whatever, everything in it was just broken every single time I downloaded it, no matter where I downloaded it from, so I'm not sure why it didn't work. But this one seemed interesting, fleshes out Morrigan's quest. This one, since it doesn't really have a description, I can't remember exactly what it was supposed to do. And this one was just sort of an unofficial patch, which seemed... I didn't really read the fixes too much, but hopefully it'll fix some of the problems that I remember the game having. And we'll see what comes of it. So let's just resume. Game's got some woefully long loading screens. Alright, so we're back here at Ostagar. And there's a lot of people to talk to here, given that this is technically still an intro as far as I'm concerned. So we can talk to a lot of people. This is one of those kind of RPGs that is extremely dialogue heavy. They kind of expect you to talk to pretty much everyone you see, but you'll have to forgive me if I get a little fed up with it after a while.
The Tower of Ishal is off limits. The men stationed inside are securing it now. I think they used it once to watch for wilders coming out of the forest. By orders of Tairn Loghain, the tower is being secured by his men to be used during battle. I'm told they discovered some lower chambers, and they don't know how far down they go, so for now, everyone's to stay out. I didn't see anything like that when I was there, but who knows? Goes back to the time of the Tevinter Imperium. Dwarven make. That's probably why it's still standing. Make us speed your steps.
And yours, my friend. So, obviously that tower's going to become pretty significant. Pretty large place. This whole stronghold, although some of it's in ruins, altogether seems to be in very good shape and seems very strategic. The only reason I can imagine that the Kingdom of Ferelden never really used it before now is just the fact that it was never really necessary. They never had any threats coming from the south before.
Make her watch over you, my lady.
Yeah, there are plenty of NPCs who have absolutely nothing to offer. But, we'll talk to a bunch of them at any rate. I think this guy approaches us.
You must be the Grey Warden recruit that Duncan brought.
No, I guess he just tries to address us, but we don't have to talk to him.
Centuries, I'll wager. Need a
No,
hand getting anywhere?
I forgot. Someone asked me to make sure I address which dialogue options I'm choosing, just because I was going a little too fast last time. So, oh, that's where Duncan's tent is.
It's straight ahead, just past the royal encampment. Most of your fellas are in the valley with the army, but the recruits seem to be staying up here for now.
Okay, so there are more Grey Wardens here, just ones that we never end up meeting. I'm looking for a Grey Warden named Alistair.
Try heading north. I think he was sent with a message to the mages.
Tell me about Ostagar.
A long time ago, so I understand. Back in the days when the Wilders used to invade the lowlands. You were just on the eastern side of the ruin. The Tower of Ishal is there, but Tairn Loghain's closed it off until the battle. This side is the King's camp. We've got the Grey Wardens here, the Circle of Magi, the Chantry. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting somebody important.
Why would you do such a thing? Anywhere to get supplies.
Master, he's just a bit to the northwest.
Where's the king?
Probably in his tent. He and Tairn Loghain are on the southwest side of the camp. The king likes to spend time with his soldiers, though. Sometimes even without his bodyguards. Drives Tairn Loghain wild, that does.
Sure it does. Circle of Magi?
A few mages, yes. They even brought those creepy, quiet fellows, the Tranquil. Gives me the shivers when they talk, all cold and even. They're to the north of here, bunched up with a herd of Templars glaring at them. Can't miss it.
Do I hear dogs?
This is Ferelden, isn't it?
Is
the
it?
king has his kennels on the west side of camp. Stinks from all the hounds. These aren't cute puppies, though. Some of those dogs bite the darkspawn and get too much of that blood in them. It's like poison. Slow, painful death. Terrible.
That's awful.
Good luck to you then.
So yeah, dogs are a very kind of, they're kind of integral to the kingdom and nation of Ferelden. They're widely used in battle, and most people seem to have one as a companion. I can't tell if these textures are just naturally much lower res than everything else around it, or if they're just not loading properly. And I think I've got the settings almost at max. Anti-aliasing down just a little bit, but that's about it. There isn't a whole lot that this game really gives you in detail options, at least from this menu. I think the setup menu from launching it from Steam has a little bit more. And we got music.
I'm sorry, but the mages must not be interrupted. I'm sorry, but the mages must not be interrupted.
Okay. You gonna stop me?
The mages must not be interrupted. Their spirits are in the Fade. The
Fade
is the realm of dreams and the land of the dead, or so the mages tell us. Regardless, they are not to be disturbed, not even by Grey Wardens.
Alright, so be it. The Fade. Oh, what a dreadful place that is. As we shall find out. So here's the Kingsguard.
Greetings. King Cailan is not in his tent right now? I suppose I do, though he's spending most of his time with the Grey Wardens. He rides with them wherever they go, in fact. Teyrn Loghain sees the king whenever he can and argues with him over coming battles, but the king just waves him off. The king wants to end the Blight with a single huge battle the bards will sing of for centuries. Do you think that's possible?
Hardly. But I guess we'll see.
That's how the Teyrn feels. He'll do what the king wants in the end, though. The king thought it was funny that Teyrn called him reckless, and they fought about the queen.
The Queen?
She's the Teyrn's daughter. He wasn't happy about something she did or the king did, I'm not sure. I probably shouldn't discuss it. As you
Fair enough. So that's the king's tent. This would be Teyrn Loghain's tent then, I assume.
You approach the tent of Teyrn Loghain. State your business. How
Tell
come
me
you
about
don't
him.
know of Loghain? He helped free Ferelden. He was the brains behind King Maric's armies and drove out those damned Orlesians. King Maric rewarded him by making him a Teyrn. Can you imagine? A commoner became a high nobleman just like that. Without Loghain,
Progressive as
the
fuck.
king wouldn't be winning against these Darkspawn.
Is he
He's
inside?
inside, but I don't think it's my place to discuss his activities.
May I speak with him?
I suppose you have a message for him. Hold on, then.
Yes, what is it? Oh, you're Duncan's new Grey Warden, I assume.
Simon Templeman. Oh. It's good to see you again. How do you know
His
that?
Majesty could not contain his excitement after your meeting. How could I not hear about you? Cailan's fascination with the Wardens goes beyond the ordinary. Are you aware his father brought your order back to Ferelden?
Fascination you don't share.
Wardens are impressive, but not as relevant as Cailan thinks. You're pretty for a Grey Warden. Don't let anyone tell you that you don't belong. The first Warden Maric brought to Ferelden was a woman. Best warrior I've ever seen. I don't suppose you'll be riding into the thick of battle with the rest of your fellows, will you?
Well, I would like to, but I simply do not know.
That is where you will. Now I must return to my task. Pray that our king proves amenable to wisdom, if you're the praying sort.
You don't seem to be very fond of him.
Maric's son and the leader of my beloved Ferelden, and a very young man. I try to keep that in mind, as should you.
Alright, well, I guess I left him with a bit of a sour impression, but overall, he's not as... not quite as,
Carefully, man. This wretched thing is a darkspawn.
not quite as, like, resentful towards the Grey Wardens as, otherwise the game would, kind of make you think. It's just interesting. He's actually seemed to have some respect for the Grey Wardens, although he doesn't consider that, he doesn't hold them in, he doesn't idolize them the way that the king does, for example.
As you wish.
But it's just interesting. And overall, he doesn't seem like a particularly unfriendly sort. But obviously, things change rather quickly once the whole shit show kicks off here.
Back underground.
Now, I thought I had... Yeah, I'll just turn that on. In case you guys are interested in what people are talking about as I'm running by, but...
Different kinds.
No, in fact, I'm gonna turn that back off. It's already annoying me. I mean, a lot of the idle dialogue isn't necessary in any way. It's just... like the ambient dialogue, it's just there for atmosphere, basically. An Ash warrior.
Elf, what's your name?
It's Pink, sir.
Go tell Tern Logain that the war party's ready to begin scouting. We'll send word if we find anything amiss.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
You seem important.
Maker's breath, another elf. What do you want?
Well, fuck you too.
Congratulations. Not bad for an elf. Is there something you wanted? We have no time for idle chatter.
You don't look like the other soldiers in the army.
We're Ash Warriors.
And what is that?
Our training has been passed down since Lathias the Dwarf Son first harnessed the battle rage of the dwarves. It is an old tale.
So what does an Ash warrior do?
We harness the rage inside us, nurture it, and draw it out so we cannot fall in battle until our last foe is slain. It is a dwarven discipline, but we've adapted it to let us fight alongside our hounds. That is our way. I trust my hound with my life, as he trusts me with his.
Is a dog that good in combat?
A trained Mabari hound is as dangerous as any sword. We do not speak of a city pet or those things that sit in an old woman's lap.
And what are you preparing for?
Scout the wilds and watch the progression of the Darkspawn horde. With luck, we'll find and slaughter many stragglers. The hunt will be good if my hound survives the blood of his prey. If he dies, I shall mourn tonight.
Survives the blood?
Darkspawn blood is poisonous, but not always fatal. Those who survive grow immune to its effects. The Wardens say that tainted blood drives even the survivors mad eventually. But not today. Today, we hunt and we kill.
Wouldn't it be smart to leave your dogs
They
behind?
fight at our side. We don't fret over their safety as if they were children.
Why have you painted your dogs?
To distinguish us from our enemies. But the blood of battle can confuse them. So we paint ourselves with Caddis, which overpowers the blood, and also paint our hounds so they know we are the same.
What if the enemy was painted as well?
Why? Would you steal our Caddis and give it to the Darkspawn hordes?
I hope you're
If
joking.
you tried, we would kill you. And that is no joke. My thanks. There is hunting to be done, and I'll not be kept from it.
So I'm not exactly sure what caddis is. Like, as far as the definition goes, it's got to be some kind of like ceremonial,
This isn't good.
like
I
war
had to
paint.
waste such a promising member of the breed. Are you the new warden? I could use some help. This
Why would I
beast
help
is in
you?
the King's service, just like you and I. This is a Mabari, smart breed and strong. His owner died in the last battle, and the poor hound swallowed Darkspawn blood. I have medicine that might help, but I need him muzzled first.
Why do you think I could muzzle him?
Grey Warden, or soon will be. All wardens are immune to the Darkspawn taint. The most you have to worry about is some tooth marks.
Just how smart is this dog?
Centuries ago, a mage bred them to be smart and understand what they're told. They can remember and carry out complex orders. Most valuable dogs in the world. Trouble is, they generally imprint to one master. Re-imprinting them is very difficult. But without the medicine, re-imprinting won't be an issue. Will you help?
Well, I'll give it a shot.
Go in the pen and let him smell you. We'll know right away if he'll respond. Let's hope this works. I'd really hate to have to put him down.
Aww. Not the most, pretty looking dogs in the world, but there's something kind of cute and endearing about them.
Well done. Now I can treat the dog properly, poor fella. Come to think of it, are you heading into the wilds anytime soon?
It might be.
There's a particular herb I could use to improve the dog's chances. It's a flower that grows in the swamps here, if I remember. If you happen across it, I could use it. It's very distinctive, all white, with a blood-red centre.
Oh, I'll take a look for it. For the dog's sake.
I'll begin treating our poor friend.
Alright then, alright. Well, let's take a look around. Actually, I don't really think there is anything on this side. That's leading out to the, wilds. We can't really go there yet. This leads up to the main army camp. I don't think we're allowed here. Oh, wait, no. This isn't quite it. Oh, Lord, the frame rate. You're nobody important.
Remain here long, Warden. In the name of Andraste, I bless you today. May you find favor in the Maker's eyes. So let it be. Ah, I suspect you are one of the new Grey Wardens. Will you accept the Maker's blessing?
You administered blessings to elves?
I merely pass on the Maker's blessings. He looks kindly on all who will receive him.
Does he destroy the homeland of those who will not?
I'll not discuss politics here. Take your hatred and be gone.
Yeah, well, sorry, but you leave a quite sour impression with all your preaching and proselytizing going hand in hand with the subjugation of my people.
Let's get started.
Oh, crap. Alright. That's, oh. I got more points than I thought. Let's add some strength since it says it helps rogues. Cunning. And some willpower. And dexterity. Right, we will learn to open locks. There we go. Another plain iron dagger. Now this, I didn't really talk about it before, but I know that, there are basic weapon types, generally, and each one can be made from a different material that improves things like damage, criticals, and sometimes unique attributes. So even the same armor or weapon made from a different... Wow, that is horrifying. What the hell happened there? Yeah, so the same equipment made from a different material can be almost entirely different. I guess I can't talk to you. I can talk to you.
Huh. Someone finally comes and talks to the lone prisoner. I don't suppose you've come to sentence me? No. They put someone like me in a cage until someone important has time to decide what to do with me. I don't suppose you have a bit of kindness in you? All I want is food and water. They haven't fed me since I was locked up and I'm starving.
Why would I want to help you?
You might want something I don't need. Them circle wizards got a chest they keep things in. Magical things. And I stole the key. That's why I'm here. I got one of them drunk, took his key and tried to sneak to the chest. They assumed I was deserting. I can't use it from here. But I'd trade you for some food and water.
They didn't find the key when you were arrested?
I swallowed it. But it's, come back into my possession since then, so to speak.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, well, do you want the key or not?
Can I wash it off first?
Just ask my guard for his. He's still got some dinner. I saw him put it in his coat.
Alright, well, let's see if we can, persuade him.
Lucky dog. You Grey Wardens get to ride with the king while I'm left with the drudgery of guarding this deserter. They should have just hanged him. Put his head on a pike as an example.
Why did he want to
desert?
desert?
Anyone want to desert? Because he thinks he's going to die and he's a bloody coward, that's why. Either that or he's been listening to a bunch of hogwash about how the Darkspawn will drag you off and eat you.
Seems a waste for you to guard him all day.
The army will figure out what to do with him.
Probably just waiting for someone important to make a decision. Then they'll hang him, I expect. And I can go and do something else.
I had a chat with him, actually.
I expect it was an enlightening conversation.
He asked for some food and water.
Did he now? Since nobody sends me nothing to feed him with, the only way we'll get that is if I give him mine.
So you miss one meal. This man could be hanged soon.
All right, all right. I guess the poor fella could stand to have one meal in his belly before he hangs. Don't know why you care. I had nothing to do with it, though. If anyone asks why he's burping, I'm gonna say it was you. Just so you know.
Whatever, I think I can live with that.
So? Brought me some food, have you? I'm so hungry I could faint dead away.
There you
Much
go.
obliged. May Andraste herself rain blessings upon you. And, as I mentioned, here's the key. Use it in good health, huh?
Alright. Thank you very much. Now, this key, if I recall correctly, is used for a chest down here, and we simply cannot use it yet because it's this chest right here, and this fellow won't let us touch it.
That course of action is inadvisable.
Oh, you've got a strange demeanor to you.
Welcome, young woman.
Who are you?
I am one of the Tranquil, my friend. I am of the Circle of Magi. But instead of casting spells and reading tomes, I spend my time enchanting. It is a time-consuming process, but invaluable. Enchantment provides the Circle its wealth. Certainly we would not get by on charity.
Speak very strangely. Why?
Allow me to put it this way. Do you know why those with magical talent are feared?
Magic is powerful and dangerous.
It is dangerous beyond its power. Those with magical talent attract demons and spirits. We can be possessed easily, and thus become horrors known as abominations. Even those with minor talents attract hungry spirits. Anyone with the power may learn blood magic from these demons. Hence, we are considered dangerous. This is our curse. Thus, I was made tranquil, stripped of emotions and talent. I am no longer dangerous.
It sounds horrible.
It might seem such to you, but I feel no horror. I am content to serve in my role.
How is someone made tranquil?
Is branded with magic, which stills our talent and mind. The process is irreversible as far as I am aware.
No, that just sounds dreadful. I mean, like, I guess in that situation you have no emotion, so you can't possibly have any strong feelings about the matter. But it's from, anyone who is not wholly without emotion like these guys are, to people like us who just seem like not only are you stripped of ambition and any kind of negative emotions, but you're also kind of stripped of meaning. Just because, like, you have no motivations anymore. You just kind of waltz around and do what you're told for, no personal reasons, really. I don't know. It's all very strange, and I just don't tremendously like the idea of it.
You do? I feel nothing. As the name suggests, my existence is quite peaceful. I am alive, productive, and no danger to anyone. Surely that is not a terrible thing. Perhaps we may speak of something else. Do you need assistance?
What is enchantment?
It is the practice of folding magical lyrium into items first practiced by the dwarves. The Tranquil have learned their runes, and we use them to apply a variety of magical effects. We create the glow lights, as well as the magic staff, or the flaming blade. The irony, perhaps, is that it is our very disconnection to our former talents that allows the Tranquil to work with lyrium so. A true mage could not.
Now, it's interesting that he says that, because nowhere that I've seen is it actually explained why a Tranquil is capable of working with lyrium and magic in a way that a practicing mage is not. It's not really explained. I'm not really sure how these Tranquil, just by virtue of the fact that they can't actually cast magic anymore, are somehow able to actually manipulate lyrium runes. What sort of enchantments are there?
Hold the power of the elements that increase strength or swiftness. Almost any spell can be given permanency, given enough skill and lyrium. Naturally, the greater the power required, the more expensive the rune will become to create. True power comes with a price, as we know only too well.
Indeed.
Goodbye.
Well, you can learn some poignant truths from a man who feels nothing. So who are you?
Well, you're not what I thought you'd be.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, me and Sir Knight were just betting on what the third recruit would be. Not an elf, yet here you are. The name's Daveth. It's about bloody time you came along. I was beginning to think they'd cook this ritual up just for our benefit.
Maybe they did.
Just to give us a good scare. No, they don't really seem the type. I happened to be sneaking around camp last night, see, and I heard a couple of Grey Wardens talking. So, I listened in for a bit. I'm thinking they plan to send us into the wilds.
The wilds, eh?
We're right on the northern edge of the Kukari wilds here, miles and miles of savage country. My home village isn't far, and I grew up on tales about the wilds. Even been in there a few times. Scary place.
And why would they send us there?
Sounds like some kind of test. Maybe we'll hunt us a souvenir or two. It's all too secretive for me. Makes my nose twitch. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Like we have a choice.
I wouldn't be here if I did.
You take what you get, right? Anyway, I expect it's time to get back to Duncan. That's where I'll be if you need me for anything.
Right, fare thee well, Sir Rogue. Now, one thing that just kind of irritates me about this game, and I don't really get why they weren't able to actually do this, is the fact that no bows or crossbows actually have a bowstring of any kind. And that really irritates me. It seems like a ridiculous, shortcut that they took for just the fact that they didn't want to animate the bows, being drawn and fired. It's really silly. Now, it's interesting to note that you can take anything else here. You're just not allowed to take anything from that chest. But you will have the opportunity later to actually use that. You are the quartermaster.
You there, elf. Where's my armor? And why are you dressed so preposterously?
Excuse me?
You're... Oh, yes, of course. Please, forgive my rudeness. There are so many elves running about, and I've been waiting for... It's simply been so hectic. I never thought... But please, pardon my terrible manners. I am just the quartermaster, a simple man. No one special.
Perhaps you should treat your servants more kindly.
Yes, of course, you're very right. Did you come for some supplies, perhaps?
What kind of supplies do you have?
Arms and armor, for the most part. It's for the King's men, but you Grey Wardens can buy what you need for a modest price. I also have some goods on the side I can provide. Strictly off the record, of course, to keep morale up, you understand.
Now, it's interesting to note that you have two different dialogue options for the contraband
so keep it quiet.
And his regular regular stock. And I think either way you can still access the same inventory.
Hello again. Is there something you need? Some supplies, perhaps? Let me know what you'd like.
Well, maybe not. There are some things missing when you use the other option, but his full stock is accessible from even the other dialogue option where you ask to see his contraband. Now, these Mabari crunches here, these are they're healing items specifically for Mabari hounds, and the human noble origin story, you get a Mabari hound by default, but every other path you can only get the Mabari after you complete the intro. And it's interesting that the Mabari get these, but you can still use poultices on them if you need to. Right, we don't need any more daggers. I don't think the great sword will be that valuable. We will have our allies, the other recruits, when we're following them, we can give them items as well, since they are technically ordinary party members. I think I'll keep just one... Well, what's better? Crossbows or bows for rogues? Strength modifier... Bows have a higher crit chance, but less damage and less armor penetration. I'll try them both. There is no ammo in this game. You don't need to buy or create ammo of any kind. You just have unlimited. Just kind of silly. And I have the Blood Dragon armor. Forgot about that. Kind of irritating that they just give it to you right off the bat. I guess I'll just hang on to it. I don't really care that much about it. I don't like using DLC equipment because they tend to be so ridiculously overpowered. When I was doing Risen 3, I sold the adventurer's garb immediately just because I didn't want to be that that heavily armored from the get-go. It seemed kind of ridiculous. But at least this has a strength requirement, so you can't use it from the beginning of the game. And in fact, it's kind of an obscenely high strength requirement. It requires 38. I think I only have 12. And a warrior won't have 38 for quite a while. Alright, well, that'll do for now. I don't think he has any...
Hello again. Is there something you need?
Has any decent rogue weapons. Yeah, he's just got garbage. It's a lot of gold for that sword. Wonder why that one's so particularly expensive. Right, so I think no, there's one person we haven't seen yet, and I want to see her, before we go to the go to what's his name. Actually, we haven't talked to the other recruit either yet.
Greetings, young lady. You are Duncan's newest recruit, are you not? He's not a man easily impressed. You should be proud. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Wynne, one of the mages summoned by the king.
Seen quite a few mages today.
Many. Mages have always helped in past blights. To defeat the Darkspawn, we have to work together. It's not an idea everyone seems able to grasp.
Do you know much about them?
Do you? Do you know about the connection between them and the Fade, for example?
The Fade, the land of the dead?
Anytime your spirit leaves your earthly body, whether it's to dream or to die, it passes into the realm we call the Fade. It's home to many spirits, some benevolent, others far less so. At the heart of the Fade lies the Black City.
And what is that?
Some say the Black City was once the seat of the Maker. But when the mages from the Tevinter Imperium found a way into the city, it was tainted with their sin.
And that was in the intro.
Transformed those men, turning them into twisted reflections of their own hearts. And the Maker cast them back to the Earth, where they became the first Darkspawn. At least that's what the Chant of Light says.
Now that's a really cool story, like a really cool part of the backstory that I think was pretty well written. I like the idea of that. It's a bunch of men who aspired for power and dominion, tried to force their way into heaven, into the seat of the Maker, who's the ultimate creator. He is God himself. And by virtue of trying to force their way in, they ruined the entire city, which was, like I said, effectively heaven, which used to be a paradise for our souls when they left the body. And the Maker was furious at this betrayal, and so condemned all of mankind to pretty much their immortal souls are now effectively lost. They can't enter the halls of the Maker anymore, because the Maker has moved to a different dimension, and his former city, the former heaven, became the Fade in the Black City, which is, now corrupted by demons, as we'll see in later parts of this game. So we'll hear more about the whole the whole Maker story and the Chant of Light as we go on. The chantry says many things.
It may be allegory, meant to teach us that our own evil causes human suffering. Or
the hubris of men.
It is as good an explanation as any for now.
I'll just kill every darkspawn I see.
It's worked well for me in the past, but I'm certain Duncan has more for you to do than talk to me.
Well, I'm always told to respect the opinions of my elders, so I figured you'd have something poignant to address. Now, the other recruit is chilling around here somewhere. This guy's gonna stop you if you try to go in here.
Sorry, miss. The army camp is off limits for you right now.
And we have no comebacks to offer that fellow. Ah, here he is. I forgot he's at the priest.
You must be the third recruit we've heard about.
Yes, and who are you?
Sir Jury is my name. I hail from Redcliffe, where I served as knight under the command of our layman. I wasn't aware elves could join the Grey Wardens. Those camped in the valley are all human.
What's that supposed to mean?
Just that in some places, elves are not always permitted in the military. I hope we're both lucky enough to eventually join the Wardens. Is it not thrilling to be given that chance?
Wasn't exactly my choice.
I fought hard to get here. Impressing Duncan was not easy. Tell me, has anyone told you what this joining ritual entails?
It's all a big secret, apparently.
I never heard of such a ritual. I had no idea there were more tests after getting recruited. I suppose since you're finally here, I'd best get back to Duncan. I shall see you there.
Fare thee well, Sir Jory. Actually, I don't think he's a... Did he say he was a knight? I can never really remember. I couldn't remember if he was an actual knight or if he was just... if he was just like a soldier who might have been in the process of becoming a knight. Now, what are these fellows doing here?
Tell me if you need anything, friend, and I'll try to get it.
Okay.
You're very lucky to have such an opportunity.
Indeed, if only we all could. Although it's not really my choice, as I've addressed before. I think this might be the elven servant who the quartermaster was yammering about. Ooh, an ashbow. Now, how does that compare? So you can see this ashbow. You can compare it to the elm bow. It's got slightly more damage, slightly higher critical chance, slightly higher armor penetration, and a little bit more range. Strength modifier is unchanged. But yeah, so that's how that goes. Right, we'll keep the bow offhanded. My friend was complaining in Inquisition that you can't have weapon sets the way this game allows it, which I could see being very irritating. Now, is there... What? Why is it all the way over there? I'm going to rebind that to something. Z doesn't do anything, so I'll use that. Someone's tooting some horns over there. So how do you? Swap weapons, we'll make it Z. There we go. Most good. Oh, this tree's a little fucked up. They done goofed a little bit there. Alright, now Alistair is right over up here. And we will talk to him in just a minute, but I actually have to go somewhere, so this is kind of going to wrap up one episode. Not really much of any interest happened, but we did meet quite a few people and learned a bit more about what's going on around her. And I'll see you next time, where we'll actually do something and head into the wilds and have a wonderful adventure. So see you then.